Hey, you crazy cats! 42's live streams and videos are simply not available on vinyl. You will have to go to the YouTubes for that. So if you want content about British traditions and culture, cutting edge social commentary from an unapologetically patriotic perspective, along with a side order of madness you simply will not find anywhere else, then this is the place for you. And to all those early adapters in the chat, don't forget to hit the notification bell. That's how you get the good stuff and make sure you never miss a tasty treat. So with that being said and done, squeeze yourself in. Let's get into it. You know you want to. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Please delete as applicable because the internet is worldwide and time zones are still a thing. Can I get a wee audio check in the chat, please? And I will say hello to the people in the comments, as is the normal custom. First one in, Mr. Budgie Burger. Oh, how many Eddie Cochran's does it take to have a nervous breakdown, a mental shakedown? I think we might actually do that later because, yeah, that is a cool tune. That is it. Mr. Burger, I like your choice in tunes. Eddie Cochran's good. Mr. Captain Packer, what about you, chum? Welcome aboard. Thank you so much for coming along. The wonderful, super sexy, delightful Emma G, who is currently, she's currently at work, but as you all know, Emma G is very nearly nurse, and she is on one of her last shifts before she finishes off the rest of her training and goes to new pastures in the nursing field with the blue uniform. It's fucking amazing. Yeah, Emma's doing really well with all of that, and I hope this shift is as good as it can be, given the madness. Anglo-Saxon, evening, brother. Welcome aboard. Thank you so much for coming along. I'll play that soon. Before you, while you're still here, I'll play the other one. Linda Hunter is in from Down Under. Welcome aboard. Thank you very much for coming along. And the Ugly Truth's in. What about you, chum? 5x5, we've got good sound. Excellent. Thank you very much. Special K on Alice is in. And the kittens say the audio is good. Special K. Right. Oh, she's not quite sister yet, but she is going to be nursing. She's going to get one of those blue uniforms. It's fucking amazing. I am so pleased for her. She's worked really hard to get where she is, and it is all paying off. Brad, what about you, chum? Welcome aboard. Thank you so much for coming along. Brad has a Substack. If everybody doesn't know, I'm going to come back to that in a moment because there is actually something interesting, which is going to come up in the shout-outs, which I'm about to do now. So, first shout-out is Rich, RPW Media. You all know him. He's an American guy. He covers news, politics, and everything that's going on in the world of mad. And he is also the author and musical producer of my outro tune, which I will be playing soon before Emma G has to disappear because she likes it. Well, everybody, I've not heard a bad word about it. It is fucking amazing. The other thing I'm going to say is Rich also did a video about Northern Ireland and everything that's going on here. Just give me one momento until I find that link. RPW Media. Boom, 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 boom. Yep, there's the one. Videos. Yep, this is the one. One momento. Believe this is the right one. Yeah, Rich absolutely hit the nail bang on the head with what's going on here. A really good, video. You all want to have a watch at that. It's good and very sentient. Now, another show I'd like to give a shout out to is Courage is Cure. Robin, she's an Australian girl. She will keep you up to date with everything that's happening in this. There's the very man himself. What about you, Sean? Welcome aboard. Really enjoyed that video, mate. And it also made me think. It did. You got quite a long comment on that for me, but it did make me think. And what I'm thinking is the leftist policy has done enough to push the people from Ardoyne and Shankill and Woodfield to agree on things. And I swear to fuck, that's a systemic failure because those people would fight over two flies crawling up a wall. They disagree on how to pronounce the letter A and have been fighting since Moses was a lad. And they both came together and complained that the leftist policies, I swear to God, that's a systemic failure. And it's going to happen. Yeah, I sort of did that too, Anglo. I was fucking zonked out by the time Rich's show started last night. But I'm blaming night shift switchover on that one and beer, mostly. Commanders in. What about you, chum? Oh, we've a couple of stops before Halloween. XM vibes. We do indeed have a couple of stops before Halloween. It sort of goes May Day, Easter, Summer Solstice, 12th of July, 11th of July, and possibly shutting the gates, and then Halloween. But yeah, Halloween is on the menu. Can you say it like the Johnny Cash? No. But XM Vibes, thank you so much for coming along. And I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. So, yes, there's, Rich, RPW Media. And the other shout out that I always like to give out is the one, the only, the Dave Waffle House, home of the world famous Friday night duck race. I normally go on about how you can get yourself some ducks and get in a race, but tonight I'm going to say something different because Dave does do something different with his show. For example, Brad James, as we all know, has a Substack. Now, if you're in Dave Waffle's chat Monday to Friday from 8:30 and you're not quite sure how to get a link to Brad's Substack, all you do is put an apostrophe and Brad in the chat and it fucking brings up the link to his Substack. This is something I have not seen in anybody else's stream. This is somebody who is actually going out of the way and creating things to try to help other people put their stuff forth. That's actually quite amazing. It's a level of teamwork and cooperation I don't see a lot of in England, so I'm going to shout it out and scream about it. So, Dave, I don't know how he does this to do with the software he uses. I use the easiest software that I can find. Dave does some complicated shit and he's able to do things like that. Otherwise, I would be doing that. But what I will say is any of the mods, feel free to drop whatever links you want in the chat. And oh fuck me, yep. Right, Brad, I will be reading that, and thank you so much for dropping the link. I have no idea. What sorcery it is. I think possibly Merlin was involved. I really don't know, but it is good. He is, mate. Dave is a really good lad. And he's doing what he's doing for all the right reasons. really appreciate everything it is that Dave Waffle House. It's really very important. Now, before I go any further and start to talk about summer solstice and all of that, I'm going to do two things. Actually, I'm going to do the first one right now. I'm going to play my new outro, which was the music, and it was written by Rich RPW Media, and and he also did the music, and I put the video to it. And Emma G always complains that if it's the outro, she's never here to hear it. So I'm going to put it on the stage now and play it now. And then I'm going to continue on with what I was going to say. That seems to be how we're going to do this. Because reason.
In the red dirt, name carved in a stone you can't move. 42 wears the north wind like a tattoo. Green field trapped in a gray sky, saw the rain still stuck in his throat. Far from the line on the map, he carries that border like a coat. 42, Ulster's poet, patriot, spitting old ghosts into new dark songs. From the cold, wet edge of Northern Ireland to the dry heat where his shadow runs long. 42, Ulster's poet, patriot, every line is a vow he won't undo. Hear that low voice curse and bless, words like broken glass in the heather. Tongue tastes blood and black tea. He writes the river that cut his town. He writes walls only he can see. Vision of Ulster's flicker over rusted wire and ruin. He plants a flag in this dead valley and calls it home by singing. 42, Ulster's poet, patriot, spitting old ghosts into new dark songs. From the cold, wet edge of Northern Ireland to the dry heat where his shadow runs long. 42, Ulster's poet, patriot, every line is a vow he won't undo. Hear that low voice curse and bless when the dust says 42. Is it exile if the land moves with you? Is it freedom if the past still stares straight through? He laughs like a funeral, he prays like a fight, writes Ulster in the sand, lets the wind decide the right. At 42, Ulster's poet, patriot, spitting old ghosts into new dark songs. From the cold, wet edge of Northern Ireland to the dry heat where his shadow says 42. 42. 42.
Anglo is fucking class. I absolutely love it. I love what Rich did. He made such a brilliant frame for me to hang that video on. It's amazing. It is class. One thing I will say is looking at that video and the things from the 70s and whatnot, and a lot of people all got a bit very excited because something happened. Oh, yeah, I love it too. It's amusing. Thank you, Emma. Yeah, what people are failing to realize is there's a whole bunch of people about my age who, whenever we had a little bit of a kerfuffle the other week and a couple of things caught fire, uh, people my age, we'd went home. That smell of burning vehicles and taking over Land Rovers and the distant sound of police sirens and that nice bit of chaos about the place. And what nobody's told you is stay away from anywhere that there was trouble. The mood was actually really jovial. It was similar to, it was akin to waiting on the start of a parade, and everybody all was just having a nice wee conversation. It was fine. You know, we're home. We can quite happily live like that, which is something that everybody else needs to fucking realize. Oh fuck! That's a bad cat. That's a bad cat. Not like the nice ones at the start of my stream. So there's that. Nah. The second thing I'm going to say is before we go into this, all about Stonehenge and all of that, and we're going to start off with Brad's poem from last year. Everybody that believes we're currently in a culture war, please put a one in the chat. I'm going to mumble about fucking madness for a minute or two. He knows where a button is, I think. Yeah, he's like, yeah, I can. Not all cats. 8 out of 10. I'm not 8 out of 10 cats. Right. Captain Pack is MW1. Yep. Anybody else think we're engaged in a culture war? When the Hunter, yeah, I think we're going to get a consensus here. And if we can agree that we're in a culture war, there's something I think we all need to think about. Because why would we ignore all of our cultural activities when we're in a fucking culture war? But you struggling soldiers will want, yeah, right. You know, if you're going to be in a culture war, you're probably going to find that your indigenous culture, yeah, you're quite close to my age. Quite close to my age. Yep. If you're engaged in a culture war, you're going to have to use your culture. And the other thing is, as you know, I do the cultural events every year. Stonehenge is one of the ones that I cover every year because it's very significant to the British people. And by the end of tonight, I'm going to have come with a couple of conclusions about exactly where we are with this culture war. And I think that by not using our culture to imprint our values on our country, we are missing a really fucking large trick. In fact, I don't think we can ever win this without putting our traditional cultures to the forefront. I think that's the only way forward. But there you go. Now, with no further ado, we're going to start our Summer Solstice with a poem by Bradley James. At the stage. Right. Let's see. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, we're going to do a bit of sumage. And there we just fucked the whole thing up. Right. This is one we need to be on. Ah, that's because, Linda, you are in the southern hemisphere and this is your winter solstice, whereas we're having our summer solstice. It has only got dark here in the last couple of minutes at 10 to 11. You know, it's, yeah, cold in Australia is probably hot for England. It's definitely hot for Northern Ireland. The absence of rain is fucking amazing. Right, dear Fred. Right. The Green Man stood. Put my teeth back in and go again. The Green Man stood among the foggy haze of June morning. Potential lay in the air and breathed through the grass, salubrious and unsure. Halted at the crossroads of heavy dew and weighted summer air, laden with light, with the timeless promise of midsummer dawns. He ran his hands across the tall stalks of grass. The blades made him smile as they tickled his verdant skin. Birds sang and sunlight teased the fate of this season in placid warmth's lethargy, awaiting a power he had known for how long. He surpassed the ancient. He had known this world from the morning of all mornings, heard the utterance of the first words, and was being that birth cry. He was, and so was she. He always appeared first, as custom dictated. He always died first, as custom dictated. He smiled. He would come back and approach this day again. He was. Incorrigible, a female voice proffered. He smiled and turned to face the woman, approaching as ethereal mist that held memories and the secrets of the day, dark youth, maturity, and dotage. Her raiment was of the speckled moonlight, and the willow wisps caught therein, drifting on breeze and humid night in white garb, carrying the heritage of peoples. Every breath of emotion was held in her motion as the flowers frolicked and turned to her passage through the dawn meadow. Her footfalls belayed sunlight, promises of love, family, lifetimes, generations that came and went, being held in the bosom of deep time, collective memories of expectation in our blood. Her garb was the shade of daisy petal that glowed with the passion of summer days, winter snow, and all of the trades of climate between. Her hue was of a timid morning sun, awaiting the full mastery of day. Glowing from within her skin was exuberant, as was the summer brushed the leaves of the green man who smiled. Another year, he greeted. The moon mother inclined her head. Reflecting sunlight lay below the concept of purpose and lay in the realms of it is, superlative form of rhetorical meaning. Another solstice and always a blessing. Her birdsong voice agitated the fresh day with calm. The green man and moon mother drifted a little closer. The green man raised a hand to her. A small bouquet of honeysuckle twined through roses birthed on this ruddy hands. Birth flowers for the month of June, he said. I wouldn't have it any other way, she grinned. As the moon mother gripped the posy, nature reached a crescendo around her, the pair. petals flared with the ferocity of their path to the sky, growing in the bountiful shades. Leaves and motes of summer, life danced as particles in the air about her, as the careless warm breeze caught the white of her dress and the dark of her hair. She giggled with a laugh like odd gasps that gazed upon the shooting stars or northern lights, facing young, mature, old at once, hair grey and brown. The green man took her hand and they danced forever, a savoured moment of the season that paternally wanes and waxes with the sway of the earth as it waltzes the sun. For the long day of the longest and the green man and the moon mother swayed in their eternal homage until the night fell, still light, resplendent in the warm smell of summer holds. That smell that relaxes and induces a smile after the rewarding day's work. The pair parted and shared a smile until the winter solstice. They intoned together, leaving the abundant meadow waiting. Brad, that is fucking beautiful. Sorry, 1 second. The fuck ups are always the best bits. 07, late and working. As you can see, Brad wrote that beautiful poem, and it's about the yeah, it's fucking excellent. It's about the Green Man and the Moon Goddess. These things all have several names. The Green Man seems to have one. And these figures reappear at May Day, at winter solstice, at summer solstice, and they are what ties us to the earth and what ties us to each other and our traditions. Unfortunately, summer solstice is not our current largest midsummer festival. That currently would be Glastonbury, which has been taken over by the corporations and the rich, and there's a price tag to get in. Not an event for the people, yet it is the largest midsummer event that we currently have, and that needs to change. And it doesn't necessarily mean that we all need to go to Stonehenge. Perhaps could we all begin to do our own midsummer ritual? Not necessarily collectively, but individually with our friends and family. Could we make something of this? Could we look down into our past and our history and pull something back out and go, this is ours, and we are going to celebrate it as the gods dictate? As I swear to God, if you want to get anywhere in a culture war, it's going to have to involve your culture and collective acts. You're going to have to do stuff together that is not protesting and not sitting on the fucking internet. If you want to actually win a culture war, you're going to have to do that by making your culture more socially relevant than everyone else's. And currently, the most socially relevant thing that we have is that fucking shit show at Glastonbury. We need to change that, and we all can. Yeah, there are several festivals, Brad. Every yeah, but that's the direction we need to go. Oh yeah, exactly, Slim. They practice not what they preach. They go there and they shout about fucking open borders while having a double fence similar to the fucking Berlin Wall. I visited the Berlin Wall. There's not one wall, there's two. And there's a bit of empty ground that was fucking leveled in between the two so they could see anybody trying to get across. Yeah. Martin W's in. What about you, Sean? Now, with that, I think. Um, with that, I think the thing that goes best next would be locations of different festivals. And we will get that up now. Mm-hmm. Dead Man's Land. It does. Well, they all sit in there and shout about fucking nobody's illegal. But it's very illegal to be in there if you don't have the right ticket. It's fucking mad. Now, here we go. Summer Solstice events. Uh, no, this is recent. It's the BBC in 2026. That's the stage. The gods are probably intelligent. One momento. Right. Okay. Thousands of people are expected to flock to the west of England to celebrate the solstice, an event steeped in tradition marking the official start of astronomical summer. It takes place when the hemisphere is tilted at its maximum towards the sun. This year, the time is at 9:24 British Summer Time on Sunday, though most celebrations centre on the sunrise at 4:52. People will clamber up on hilltops and station themselves beside ancient stone circles to mark the occasion. Below are a list of events taking place across Bristol, Somerset, Gloucestershire, and Wiltshire. So, Wiltshire is, we all recognise this. This is the Henge of Stone. Amanda, I can't remember saying hello to you. Welcome aboard and thank you very much for coming along. And I've said hello to you twice. I'll apologise for that, but I don't think it's the worst thing that could ever happen. Thousands are expected to gather at Stonehenge in Wiltshire, where parking has already sold out for visitors. Dave Waffle was there last year and brought us a nice little bit of video of the actual event, which was very good. If you go back and watch his video from last year, it'll look very much like the one this year. Because the sunrise at Stonehenge always looks the same, because we were fucking clever when we built that. In 2025, more than 2,500 people gathered at the Stone Circle, and English Heritage expect similar numbers again this year. During the event, people dance and play instruments including trombones, and drums. Elsewhere in Wiltshire, large groups are also expected at Avery, a stone circle near Marlborough. And I think that this one might actually be, Brad James called it, I think this one might actually be a little more traditional and therefore a better event. I will say that the New Age hippies have quite fucking destroyed Summer Solstice because they're there doing their thing, and it's hard to have a religious experience whenever they're trying to have a fucking party. Uh, A spokesman for the National Trust, which runs the site, says their car park will be open for sunrise on Sunday. The Trust website adds, there are spaces available for camper vans in our main visitor car park, but we expect these to fill quickly. I think they probably would. Somerset. Oh, we're going to watch this.
It's an event steeped in tradition, which marks the official start of astronomical summer. The summer solstice takes place when the Earth's hemisphere is tilted at its maximum towards the sun. And in
can't get these lines
2026,
off
that
that.
time is 9:24 a.m. on Sunday, the 21st of June. And it's an event which brings thousands of people together in various locations across the West Country.
Yeah, it's been really lovely, and we came up just for the sunrise and watched the ceremony.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. For us, it's something we do together every year, and it's a good way to bring in good habits for the second half of the year and change and positive energy.
In Somerset, many of those people are expected to clamber up to hilltops and station themselves beside ancient stone circles to mark the occasion. Michelle Calbourne is a professional photographer in Glastonbury and never misses a chance to capture the event on Glastonbury Tour.
It's probably the nicest atmosphere that you get up there all year, Summer Solstice. Celebrating the longest day is something worth celebrating, isn't it? And especially when the sun's out, which it's going to be on Sunday. So it should be an absolutely brilliant atmosphere. It will be very, very, very busy. Again, it's probably the busiest day of the year up there. And everyone will be in a good mood, basically. So the energy levels will be superb. I'll be getting up at about 4 o'clock in the morning on that day, and then hopefully walking up there fairly steadily, just taking in all the views and watching as the light changes on the hill. Sort of following a lot of people up, and then people will be coming up afterwards as well. I mean, there's always people up there kind of all night at this time of year. The night before and the night of solstice, people will be up there. There'll be lots and lots of people. It'll be very busy, and people just love it up there. And you generally, people are so happy, and it's always lovely to see people that have been up there the first time as well, especially when it's misty across the landscape, and you know, it just all goes quiet and people are just amazed at the views. You know, it's always nice to see.
As well as Glastonbury Tour, groups will also mark the solstice at the Neolithic Stone Circle at Stanton Drew and at Stanton Hill. Lobster Quay near Frome will also host an early morning swim on Sunday, where it says on their website, Druids need not apply. But of course, one of the biggest crowds is expected to be at Stonehenge in Wiltshire. So if you are planning to travel there from Somerset, here's what you need to know from Stonehenge's operations manager, Julia Richardson.
Well, last year, I think we estimated it was on a weekend as well, about 25,000. So I'd expect it to be around that as well. And who knows, it could even be busier because I think it's going to be lovely weather. It starts on a Saturday going into Sunday, so not many people at work. So it could be very busy this year, which is why I think the big message for us is if you are planning to come, really look at your options for getting here, where you're going to park, because the roads are going to be very busy. Give yourself lots of time. There will be queues. We do our best to try and make sure that the flow of the road is working as best it can. But when you've had so many people from around the world coming to one place, the roads are going to be busy. So I think the message is think ahead, look ahead, plan where you're going to go. The biggest thing for us at the minute is our car park on site is actually full now. So there is no parking on site that's available unless you've already pre-booked that ticket online. You will not be able to park at Stonehenge. We've got Park and Rides from Wilton Park and Ride. We've also got the local bus company Salisbury Reds are doing regular routes, and they're doing pickups from the centre of Salisbury and the train station at Salisbury. There's also another pickup from Amesbury, which is just a stone's throw away from us as well. So all that information is on the website. So I do urge people, if you're thinking of coming, because you can't just park at site now, please do plan so you're not disappointed or frustrated on the day and you can't get in. We also, because we're expecting it so busy, we've got a lot of help from the police and highways as well to make sure those roads are clear and that no cars are abandoned. Any cars that are abandoned are going to be towed away this year. So that's another plea that please don't be tempted to ditch your car somewhere and walk, because you might come back and find your car's not there anymore.
You've been listening to Need to Know Somerset from BBC.
I was actually expecting a video with that, which didn't happen, unfortunately. But there you go. 303. A303 or 404. Yes, right. Horrible. In Somerset, one of the most popular locations to watch summer solstice is at Glastonbury Tour. Early risers dress in outfits inspired by the natural world enjoy views of the Somerset countryside from what is regarded as by some as among the most spiritual sites in the UK. Michelle Calbourne, a professional photographer who has a shop at Glastonbury, told BBC Radio Somerset she will trek up the tour at 4 a.m. I'll be walking up there fairly steadily to take in the views and watch as the light changes on the hill. Solstice is probably the nicest atmosphere you get all year, especially when the sun is out, which is going to be on Sunday. That's the fucking video we watched. There's a nice picture of it, but there's some dickhead with a fucking Palestine flag. See, this is where I would get into trouble, because I would punch that wanker. As well as the Glastonbury Tour, groups also mark the solstice at the Neolithic Stone Circle at Staunton Drew near Bristol. Meanwhile, residents have organised early morning swim at Foster's Quay and filmed Druids Need Not Apply, the website says. It says there again. What I want to draw your attention to is everybody knows about Stonehenge, but there are lots of these circles right throughout the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland as it once was, Northern Ireland as it is now. But we still have some circles down south. And that only happens whenever 3,000 years ago you have a population that all believe the same thing and put importance on the same rituals. Whatever anyone wants to tell you about Britain being formed by immigrants needs to square that with the fact that our stone circles are fucking everywhere and only happens whenever you have a united people. When many people head to hilltops in Gloucestershire, rebels often enjoy an early morning swim to mark the solstice. Cheltenham Lido is hosting a special event to mark the longest day of the year, while people are urged to book online. Gates open at 4:15 and the swim finishes at 7. This looks like a lake. Why the fuck are there tickets? If you want higher ground, places like Roadsweed Hill, just south of the Gloucester city centre, and Pantod Bracken near Drybrook in the Forest of Dean also give stunning views of the sunrise. Severn Beach is also a popular place for people to gather and watch the sunrise over the water. Sunrise over water is nice. That's a fucking classic picture. I like that. For people in Bristol, reaching the higher ground will be key as the sun rises on Sunday. Drewry Hill, just outside the city, will be a popular spot for photographers looking to capture the perfect picture, as well as Troopers Hill in St George and Peddles Park near Knoll. Several events in the city will also mark the solstice, such as the swim sessions at Hansloot Lake West Country Water Park. The Wave Bristol's inland surf facility will mark the solstice with the longest day of surfing from 6 a.m. sunrise until 2300, and surf under the lights on Saturday. So there is a quick run through of different events that are happening across the country, well, basically across parts of England, and it would indeed. Hashtag what about you, chum? Welcome aboard. Yep, Aberdeenshire up in Scotland, out that direction, up in Scotland. These go from the tip of Scotland to the tip of England. There's some in Wales, there's some in Ireland. We were all connected and believing the same thing. Whether people like to believe that or admit that or not. Now, what's next on our list of things? I think we're going to go with the overview. No, that's not what I really wanted. That's not great. Hold on. That link is not what I thought it was. Stonehenge, Banksy Code, Glastonbury lineup. Right. And what I'm going to do, we're going to have a little quick song. Because that was not quite the link that I have has changed somewhat. Or I've saved the wrong fucking link. No thanks to that. Right. There's an amazing set of stone buildings called the Quarantine Station on the coast, the first settlement of Victoria before we moved to Melbourne. We don't have any castles. No, I don't think you needed castles. The same with the lakes. They are our geography. They are indeed. How's Dex looking for a poish bird to phone him? That sounds promising. All right, where was I? Yes, share screen, corner eggs. Add this to the stage. Have a quick listen to corner eggs.
It was upon a Lammas night when corn rigs are bonny. Beneath the moon's unclouded light, I held a while to Annie. The time went by with careless heed, till 'tween the late and early. With small persuasion she agreed to see me through the barley. Corn rigs and barley rigs and corn rigs are bonny. I'll not forget that happy night among the rigs with Annie.
No,
The sky was blue, the wind was still, the moon was shining clearly. I set her down with right goodwill among the rigs of barley. I kenned her heart was all my own, I loved her most sincerely. I kissed her o'er and o'er again among the rigs of barley. Corn rigs and barley rigs and corn rigs are bonny. I'll not forget that happy night among the rigs with Annie.
right. Let's take that out and get rid of that. And strange and excellent. Strange and excellent. How's that? It'll be fine. I you'll be fine. Yeah, I will also pass along. You can almost smell the weight. Yeah, you can. Oh, well, see, the thing about it is the reason why the police officer got sacrificed is he is an officer of the state. and they needed a better sacrifice, and the officer of the state is a representation of the king. And also, he came willingly. Didn't come willingly to get sacrificed, but he came to the island willingly to try to save the little girl. It's a very good film. Right. Now, where was I? Yes. So, one second. I all over the place with this. Now, corner right. So, and this shop. Oh, yes, this is what I wanted to do. Now I found the link that I wanted. Oh, very iconic. I love watching it. I love that film. It's I really do enjoy that film. Now, presenting the site, share screen. This is a blog about newspapers that talks about celebrations from previous times, and I want to do this mainly to show where we have came from. And I want to have a look at that and see what size it is on the screen. And I'm going to give it a little zoomage in, make it larger. With summer solstice fast approaching, as well as the midpoint of the year and Midsummer's Day, we at the archive have keen to delve into the traditions and superstitions surrounding this time of year. Celebrating summer solstice at Stonehenge, the Sphere, on the 12th of July, 1958. And here we have a group of people clad in white robes representing the Druids. Be advised, people, nobody really knows how the Druid religion worked. It has been removed that entirely, that we have our best guesses. And the New Age hippies have used this lack of knowledge to inject their own bullshit into the event, which doesn't help us at all. But with a history of celebration in Britain and Ireland that predates Christianity and the Roman invasion, this special blog, we're going to take a look at the history and origins of summer solstice celebrations, as well as investigating a range of traditions that surround Midsummer's Eve, Midsummer's Day, all using newspapers sourced from our collection. So we're going to find out what the newspapers were saying in bygone days, and this will give you, hopefully, I don't know, because I haven't read this, I wanted to react to it live. So we're going to find out what we were told previously in comparison to what we're currently told, and see, does it differ at all? I think it may. Although summer solstice falls on the 20th, 21st, or 22nd of June in the Northern Hemisphere, traditionally it was celebrated only the 23rd or 24th, thus Midsummer's Day, and this year's fall on 24th of June, summer solstice on 21st of June. So the origins of summer solstice celebrations have a saintly tie. As the 18th century poet Mark Ainsworth observed, his words reprinted by the Coventry Standard on the 29th of June, 1955. The summer solstice has been celebrated in all ages in various countries by the lighting of fires, and hence on St. John's Eve, or the vigil of the festival of St. John the Baptist. By the way, John the Baptist was Jesus' cousin. Didn't know that until relatively recently. Didn't know that they were cousins. There have been popular ceremonials of this kind from the earliest time in the Romish Church. Uh, I believe these things predate that by quite a long time because 3000 BC, I don't think anybody was worried about John the Baptist whenever they were building Stonehenge and all those other stone circles. And this is the Roman Catholic Church attempt to co-opt the event. St. John the Baptist's date of birth is marked on 24th of June, and hence St. John's Eve became the focal point of the celebration. I perceive that they invented this date in order to put it on something important. As a piece printed in the Gloucestershire Echo on the 10th of July 1914 explained, observances connected with the celebration of the Nativity of St. John the Baptist began, as was usual, the evening before on what was then and is still known as the Eve or Vigil of St. John, and also Midsummer's Eve. 1914, whenever we're getting ready for going to war. But as the Gloucestershire Echo relates, celebrations around the summer solstice and midsummer eve existed before Christianity, as it was a pagan festival. Pagan merely means pre-Christian religion. All of the pre-Christian religions get lumped together as pagan, and they do not all work in the same way. So you could be a pagan, but your next question is, what type of pagan? And one of the greatest seasons of sun worship. Such sun worship often involved the building of bonfires to mark the summer solstice. This is adding your fire to the fire of the sun is the reason for the bonfire, and also why people would have fired lighted arrows that got their arrows and dipped them in flaming tar and sent them off to try to add their fire to the fire of the sun, and hopefully they land somewhere in water or don't cause a fucking bushfire. As we shall see, indeed, Northumbrian poet and historian Roland Bibby, in his column for the Morphal Herald on the 23rd of June 1978, explained how, in the Druidic religion, older than the Roman conquest of Britain, the great bonfires represented the life-giving sun and inspired rites, which lingered on as traditions without meaning, and some large expressions of excitement, which persisted as traditional games deep into Christian times. And here we have a picture of Summer Solstice in July 1932. Again, with the people with this same garb. Therefore, as the Gloucestershire Echo puts it, the celebration of St. John's Eve, or Midsummer's Eve, represents a curious mingling of pagan and Christian customs. Meanwhile, Rodri Bibby neatly sums up this unlikely marriage in his Morpeth Herald column in 1978. Midsummer's Day is the nativity of St. John the Baptist, whose life was a prelude to that of Christ, and also shares the joy of greater nativity. It is hardly surprising to find it associated with the occasion of ancient celebration of midsummer. Oh, thin crust of time. 1 second, I want to check the comments. Castle had a problem with copy and paste. They did, mate, but even though they kept things going slightly past the Roman times, the Normans probably fucking finished them off as they did with fucking everything else. Yeah, the Romans didn't like them. Druids were not primarily religious. Druids were primarily elders of the tribe. The people that the people within that community, the people would look to for guidance because they were old and wise and had seen shit before, and they would have a good idea about how to move forward. Oh, 100%. There's a point in returning to our pagan roots. And by the way, our pagan roots do not necessarily preclude Christianity. They are not necessarily in competition. The only people who put them in competition was the Church of Rome. You can indeed be a Christian, but also like to watch the sunrise and join with your fellow people. They were more than that. Uh, they would have approved marriages and would have approved transactions, and they would have advised on when to plant crops, when to start gathering in crops, and all that stuff of rural life. They were bush lawyers, but there was slightly more to it than that. Right. Consequently, given this tie between pagan and Christian that predominates other aspects of British and Irish culture, a great deal of superstition exists around the summer solstice period. From the St. Harold's Examiner, 18th of April 1914, we learn of some lovers' superstitions that surround the St. John's Eve. St. John's Eve was a especially appropriate time on which to consult the oracles because on that evening the souls of all the people left their bodies and wandered in place where they should finally be liberated from their home in clay. Hence, in many cases, young men came to visit those who would be their partners through life. This eerie image of souls walking free around Midsummer's Eve is echoed in the final stanza of a poem entitled St. John's Eve, which was penned in Penzance by the poet Michael Gardner and reprinted by Cosmans. St. John's Eve, O thin crust of time, a step breaks time in two. The least of nights, no more than shade, the lightest soul steps through. The flotsam ghosts are with us, singing, O dringe for all old suffering. Not quite the raunchy thing I was expecting. Not only was the sense of joy around summer solstice and the celebration of ancients actively rejoicing with the occasion of seeking the sun, there's also a sense of the veil thinning between two worlds, something perhaps more associated with festivals like Halloween. Yes, that is 100% associated with Halloween. Halloween is the point at which the veil is at its thinnest. What summer solstice is about is more a mating ritual where people would go with their lover out into the wilderness and procreate. And if you didn't arrive at the event with your lover, there was a good chance of picking one up along the way. In fact, you might even be hand-tied that is married for a year and a day and then go off for your own little celebration. This was quite apart from being a good festival and an enjoyable time. It was also a chance to reduce prospects of inbreeding because you have people from many different places coming and meeting at one central location, and then those people mix, and then the seed spreads, and that's how you end up. That's how you avoid ending up with all salt and no pepper. Right, just check the chats. Yeah, they tried to incorporate them. Whenever you're bringing in a whole new religion, yeah, sounds like Salford on a Saturday night. It very much is that, mate. It very much is that. Uh, Although I don't think anybody in Salford's hooking up for a year and a day. And the year and a day is actually quite important because it means that the same festival next year, that woman's not getting knocked up by another person. So it reduces that problem as well. So how is summer solstice on or St. John's Eve, as more often called, celebrated. 18th century poet Mark Ainsworth vividly described the scene at Stirl Downpatrick, where there is a ceremony commencing at 12 o'clock every night on Midsummer's Eve. I need to actually check that out because Downpatrick's just up the road. The ceremony was held at a secret mount consecrated to St. Patrick, where there were also three whales to which the most extraordinary virtues were attributed, and the heaps of stones. And so every Midsummer's Eve, great numbers of people would run around the stones with as much speed as possible, whilst others would kneel with bare legs and feet. The whales at Stirl Downpatrick, I've actually been to those whales. They're not as impressive as they are made out to be. Yeah, and it did curse the Pope at them. At each whale, I cursed the Pope because I'm a Protestant. Aikenside's account continues. While they were busy at the scene of superstition continues, the wells and streams issuing from them are thronged by crowds of the halt, maimed and blind, pressing to wash away their infirmities with the water consecrated by their patron saint. Doesn't work. One can only imagine the fanatic scene, as we shall see. Frenchism sits at the heart of celebrations of the summer solstice. St. John's Eve, an important part of Irish culture, as our newspapers reveal. On the 30th of June 1888, the County Mayo paper Bilburn and Mayo Advertiser reported how much disappointment was felt on Saturday night, which nearly resulted in a collision between the police and the people, owing to the former preventing the time-honoured custom of the night's bonfires in the principal streets. This time-honoured custom was, of course, to celebrate St. John's Eve, and thankful of the citizens of Burnbow that year, local resident Mr. C. Mann provided a bonfire on the green, round which the people amused themselves until the small hours of the morning. As we shall see, clashes between authorities and those looking to celebrate summer solstice is a theme that echoes through the years. The same Balmonto and Mayo Advertiser report discusses troubles in Limerick and Castlebar over the lighting of bonfires for St. John's Eve and the summoning of large numbers of people by police for lighting bonfires for the same occasion in the Westport Petty Sessions. These people, as the paper describes, were acting in accordance with old established custom. They found support in the Reverend Father Begley, who pointed out how the bonfires sorry, people, I had to cough. Right. One second, just check the comments. Right. Blah, blah, blah. Where was it? Oh, yes. They found support in Reverend Father Begley, who pointed out how the bonfires never gave the least inconvenience, that they were a source of innocent amusement to the people throughout the country. Indeed, Begley condemned the unjustifiable interference on the part of the local police officers, and the cases of those brought to court were unanimously dismissed by the bench. 2 years later, the Kerry Evening Post on the 25th of June 1890 described the St. John's Eve celebrations in Tralee, where again, in accordance with time-honoured custom, bonfires were lighted around in the by streets of this town. The report details how juvenile members of the community congregated around the bonfires, providing this vivid description of the scene. Several fires were also lighted on the mountains, which gave them a weird look when viewed at dusk from the outskirts of town. Pageants and armed guards. Meanwhile, how the summer solstice was celebrated across the Irish Sea. In Merry England's romantic past Midsummer Day, or more particularly Midsummer Night, was celebrated by quaint superstitious practices and wild festivals. Fires were kindled on the hills, and witchmen paraded the streets in celebration of the summer solstice. Bonfires again were an integrated part of midsummer celebrations, as was the brewing of Midsummer Day Ale. The Cornishman, meanwhile, reveals how some nuanced celebrations around the St. John's Eve, which it published on the 4th of July 1901. St. John's Eve was, in olden days, celebrated in Chester by curious ceremonies attendant on the setting of the watch by an ordinance of the corporation dated 1564, and now in the possession of the authorities of the British Museum. A pageant was ordered to consist of four giants, one unicorn, one dromedary, one camel, one moose, one dragon, and six hobby horses. The hobby horses are there with other figures, and now we've got a picture of that. The Cornish man explains how these revelries were bannered under the stern hand of the Commonwealth, but were revived under the rule of Charles II with greater magnificence than before. These festivities, however, did not last, with the traditions around summer solstice sadly dying out. Another St. John's Eve tradition was described in the Guernsey Evening Post Press and Star on 4th of February 1914. This custom involved the march of an armed guard, not less than 2,000 strong, through the city of London. According to the piece, Henry VIII took part in one of these midsummer marches incognito, although later in his reign he thought proper to abolish it. However, the custom did endure in Nottingham. Love spells and superstitions. We're getting to the raunchy bit. Aside from such celebrations around summer solstice, the midsummer period was a time of great superstition. As a Gloucestershire Echo, 10th of July 1914 outlines, Midsummer's Eve saw the gathering of certain plants and herbs that were thought to be endowed with magical qualities. These magical qualities were often used as tests of love's faithfulness, as was the case of the Midsummer Rose. The Echo describes it. Of the rose, it was beloved that, if gathered in silence on Midsummer's Eve and kept guarded from the piercing air, it would, if the love were true, be fresh on the following Christmas Day, as on the evening of June that it had been picked. Yeah, that test is designed to fail. Meanwhile, the orphan was used in the same purpose in what was known as the test of Midsummer Men. An orphan plant would be placed in a pot and left overnight, and if on the following morning the orphan bent to the right, it was a sign that the lover was faithful. If to the left, he was faithless. Fuck me. Never mind your eggs in one basket, that's your fucking plants in one pot. The Gloucestershire Echo reveals that whilst women were trying to divine who could be counted on for their faithfulness, men were in search of someone else on Midsummer's Eve, something else in invisibility. Apparently, they needed to collect fern seeds without touching the fern in order to earn the power of invisibility. This unusual custom is backed up by Shakespeare quote from Henry IV, Part 1. We have the receipt of the fern seed, we walk invisible. The greatest festival. In the early 20th century, celebrations around the summer solstice continued. One W. Fitzpatrick of Annalong, County Down. If you're watching that back, Annalong is just very close to Newcastle, and then Kilkeel, where we went for the glamping. Writing in Belfast Irish Weekly and Ulster Examiner in June 1921 described how Bonfire Night, or St. John's Eve, is still the greatest outdoor festival in Irish rural life. I beg to differ. In 1921, in Ireland, the biggest celebration was indeed the 11th of July bonfires and the 12th of July parade. That was the most participated event. I'm sorry, but sir, but you are fucking wrong. But you're called Fitzpatrick, so you have a problem with the truth. Two Irish fruits, Patrick Fitzgerald and Gerald Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick describes the pleasing sight of bonfires revealing more traditions around the celebrations. Cattle were driven with hazel switches through the smoke of the bonfire as a supposed for prevention against disease. This is where the Irish are fucking late. That's a May Day tradition. You fucking wankers. The switches afterwards being consigned to the flames. Furthermore, Fitzpatrick ties the progress of the Gaelic movement with the commendable and successful effort in reviving the ancient custom. See, called it. When was this? This was 1921. Yeah. Just past Ulster Day. You're trying to fucking push. You're trying to invent traditions. Bit hard. But there you go. Indeed, the Fiery Irishness was celebration is likely set off the authorities too in decades, and so the celebration Sun's Eve represented an important tie to Irish nationalism. Did it fuck? And I can tell you why it's got nothing to do with Irish nationalism, because it no longer fucking exists. You burn your fires in August for interment. With no fucking reason other than interment. And the Prods have fires, so we'll have fires. Again, with the Irish fucking invented culture. I will reduce my rant and I will check the chat. Fuckers a lot of chat. Oh. Anybody that watched what happened like 2 weeks ago on a Tuesday night, it's going to get very fucking messy. And they're stuck on an island with us and they're only starting to realise. And trust me, it's going to get very fucking messy. And we will win. We never lose. We can't lose. Cornish bonfires. This was echoed in Cornwall and another Celtic. No, it's not Celtic, it's Gaelic, you fucking absolute dicks. There are no Celts in Britain. Sorry. Need to break this to you. The Celts didn't exist as a people until around 1000 BC. And those people in Cornwall have been there from like 7000 BC. So unless they've got a time machine, they're going to be Gaelic, not Celtic. And the Celts arrived in Ireland at 250 BC and never did really reach the mainland. So, no. On the 2nd of July 1931, the Cornish man reported on Midsummer Eve bonfire at the Castle of Dennis, an Irish Age hill fort near St. Column Manor. This had been organised by the own Cromwell societies in an effort to resurrect old Cornish traditions. And whenever they say resurrect old Cornish traditions, they mean take an old Cornish tradition and totally transform it into something that it was not in order to press their political leverage. And this is going back to 1925, 1935, even before that. Indeed, this is where your culture war lives. This is what we need to get back involved with. This is the front line of your culture war, taking back all of your old stuff and making it socially important. And you can forget about winning elections until you've done that. Until you've got your festivals back, you've got your ability to meet and greet people back, and you've got centres to fortify and make more British. You're not going to win elections. This needs to come before election year. because even if you do manage to win an election by fluke, you're always going to be beholden to whoever it was you voted in, because they're not coming from the people. I digress. A large gallery numbering 8 wheel-leading Western National buses and scores of motor cars as well as motorcycles were addressed by Mr. Walter H. Eva, the president of the local Old Cornwall Society. Eva spoke to his members of Cornish summer solstice traditions. I well remember the tar barrels and bonfires in the main street of Penzance on Midsummer's Eve, and the fair on Midsummer Day and on the quay. The line of tar barrels, relieved occasionally by large bonfire, which would be in the centre of the street, while young men and women passed up and down on either side, swinging torches, which were made of large pieces of hessian, fixed to a pole or chain, and after having a second dip of tar at the gasworks were set alight, and the flames of some of these almost equaling the bonfires. After the fireworks, Eva tells of how the crowd joined hands to dance, and they chanted, "And I, and I." The Cornishman then takes us back to the present with another evocative description. Sharp at 10:15, the midst was pierced by the bright light on Mardon Corn. A few seconds later, the Castle and Din's bonfire was blazing merrily. The Bale of Walton. We do find evidence of bonfires being lit to mark summer solstice in other parts of Britain too. Roland Bibby, in his 1978 Morpeth Herald piece, describes how it is only the village of Walton which refuses to give up its bonfire in the Northumberland area. The village of Walton, for its midsummer celebrations, used the name Bale, as Bibby explains. 1 second, I want to check this chat, and then I'm not fucking muted. Whew. Yes, get a pasty in you. Possibly a Gaelic print budget, not a Celtic one. There was fuck all funny about it. They're in my £2 bet. Yeah, fuck. I've got a whole £2 riding on Brazil, Germany, Spain, and Belgium. And Germany were looking like they were going to fucking sink it. There was nothing funny about it. And Emma was going to tell you about that tomorrow. Yeah, so we're halfway there. Yeah. It is an old word for the Great Fire, here in Borderland, used for beacons which were kept ready on hilltops and huge braziers on the castle turrets, ready to warn the countryside that raiders were stirring. It is frequently confused with Baal, an ancient god imported long ago, which much involved with fire and things nasty in the wooderies, and certainly far less worthy than the commemoration by the tradition as old as near the hearts of the sun-starved Northumbrians of Watton Bale. The Druids in Stonehenge. Here we go. As we move to more modern times, we encounter our paper's more familiar notions of summer solstice celebrations, which involve Druids in Stonehenge. On the 20th of June 1942, the Taunton Courier Western Advisor on the summer solstice druidical ceremony at Stonehenge. Owing to the war, activities of the ancient order of Druid hermits were suspended, but delegates were allowed to visit the double circle near Stonehenge at sunrise to celebrate the summer solstice. So even during the war, we found a way to celebrate the summer solstice. Some 40 years later, the Gloucester Echo, the 20th of June 1986, reported how Druids and flute-playing hippies greeted the summer solstice at Stonehenge today watched by helicopters and lines of police. The paper reported how nobody is allowed access to the Ring of Stones, with 50 white robed celebrants being joined by around 150 hippies who arrived peacefully on foot. Not quite rock and roll. The issue of peace at Stonehenge summer solstice celebrations would be an ongoing issue in the decades to come. On the 22nd of June 1999, Aberdeen Press and Journal reported how the Henge was peaceful after the solstice disturbances. Summer solstice celebrations have been served by several hundred demonstrators who had torn down more than 20 metres of perimeter fence and charged upon the stones. The Aberdeen Press and Journal relates how it was the first major disorder at the stones for many years and followed the lifting of the routine 4 mile exclusion order. So back in back in 1963, we were getting kept away from the stones, and we've now got back there. The paper featured an interview with Mr. Kevin Corlin, the head of the British White Witches, who said, "We had heard the CB message saying, 'Let's go do Stonehenge, rip up the fences and take the place apart.' It was obviously something that was going to happen. The police should have taken more action. The fence was broken and a woman danced nude on top of the stones. Stonehenge should be a place of worship, not for sex, drugs, and rock and roll." And the problem with the way Stonehenge's went is it's incredibly hard to have a religious service while people are also trying to make it a fucking rock concert. Those two things need to happen on different days. I'm sorry, but that's just how it is. Celebrations, summer solstice have always been representative, however. The type of rock and roll culture, from expressions of Irish nationalism. There is no fucking Irish nationalism to summer solstice. They really don't care about it. To the continuing of ancient pagan traditions and other cultural celebrations holds a kind of mysticism and frantic mirth as described by Bobby Rowland. Midsummer is a time of celebration, time of sun worship, a time of abandonment, which we're privileged to trace through back the pages of our newspapers. So there you go. There is a little look at midsummer through the years in Britain. And my point on all of this is what this is telling you is this has been a multi-generational attempt to hold on to our history and traditions. And that is not going to change. Everything we win will be handed to our children, and they need to fight to keep it. This is not about having one thing where the British people win and all of a sudden, forever and a day, we have no problems and we have a government that represents us and does the best for the British people. That is not going to happen. This is an intergenerational war that we hand to our children, and our job is to give them the best, most secure front line that we can. And to do that, we need to look at where other people in Britain have done well, and we need to replicate that. We also need to have an honest look at where things have gone badly for us in Britain and figure out ways to change that. And I will say unequivocally, you're not going to fight your way out of this. This is not we're going to have a punch up behind the pub and it's all going to be over. This is something that needs to be involved with culture, needs to be involved with politics, needs to be involved with religion, and needs to be involved with how we live our daily life. Oh yeah. But we need all the cultural stuff in place before that can kick off. Yeah. Nighttime, falling the front line. Oh, do you know what? We could have took the whole fucking country down the other Tuesday night. It's amazing how close we were to the collapse in that government. We were 5 rats in England away from that, or not even 5 rats. Do you know what? Do you know how close we were to bringing down the country? All it would have took was 30 incredibly peaceful protests outside police stations on the Tuesday night where Belfast went nuts, and that would have brought this government down. But another chance will occur. That is a given. Now, I want a musical interlude. Fuck it. Here we go. Quick musical interlude. It's going to be my tune again. Because why not? I'm going to try and find a poem.
In the red dirt, name carved in a stone you can't move. 42 wears the north wind like a tattoo. Green field trapped in a gray sky, saw the rain still stuck in his throat. Far from the line on the map, he carries that border like a coat. 42, Ulster's poet, patriot, spitting old ghosts into new dark songs. From the cold, wet edge of Northern Ireland to the dry heat where his shadow runs long. 42, Ulster's poet, patriot, every line is a vow he won't undo. Hear that low voice curse and bless, words like broken glass in the heather. Tongue tastes blood and black tea. He writes the river that cut his town. He writes walls only he can see. Vision of Ulster's flicker over rusted wire and ruin. He plants a flag in this dead valley and calls it home by singing. 42, Ulster's poet, patriot, spitting old ghosts into new dark songs. From the cold, wet edge of Northern Ireland to the dry heat where his shadow runs long. 42, Ulster's poet, patriot, every line is a vow he won't undo. Hear that low voice curse and bless when the dust says 42. Is it exile if the land moves with you? Is it freedom if the past still stares straight through? He laughs like a funeral, he prays like a fight, writes Ulster in the sand, lets the wind decide the right. At 42, Ulster's poet, patriot, spitting old ghosts into new dark songs. From the cold, wet edge of Northern Ireland to the dry heat where his shadow runs long. was 42. 42.
Edmund, yeah. See, here's the thing. We had to stop. We had no other option. Because what we needed was a lot of protests in England. Didn't need to be violent. All they had to do was hold the English police there. Newsflash to you. I know this is probably new to most people, but see, every time we're having riots, what they do is they bring a whole shitload of police from England to Northern Ireland to increase their manpower. Now, if you'd have had a lot of protests that were peaceful outside police stations in England, that would have meant every chief constable would have said, no, actually. Oh, and by the way, you just needed to go up and say, we're arriving at 7, we're going home at 8, we're going to have a peaceful protest. We are protesting about how the police are handling people in custody. We want the police to treat us better. That's our whole complaint, and we're going to be peaceful. The police would have had to stay there to organise traffic management all the way around it. Plus, they wouldn't know exactly what they were dealing with, and then they wouldn't have been able to flood us with police. That didn't happen. So there was an end exercise called. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not. They move the police fucking here, there, and everywhere. Yeah. But if you have widespread protest that holds in there, it's the reason why what happened was able to happen was because all of the protests that nobody's seen anything about really, because in every loyalist area, every loyalist housing estate, every loyalist town, every loyalist city, there was a protest which held those local police in place, which then left our First Minister, who is from Sinn Féin, with a choice of bringing in the army. Oh, well, Edmund. We were told there was going to be protests right across England that didn't materialise. Yeah. That's a different. Those insignias are about which tactical group they're about of. But yeah, that's what needs to happen. We need to do this on a national level. We were told it was going to happen all across. It didn't. And that's as much as I'm going to say for the minute on that. Yeah, need to have a talk with Pack and Almac about that offline. Yeah, but that's pretty much where we're at with all of that. Now, I promised you some poetry. Here we go. This is Trilogy of Trilogy by yours truly, 42. And StreamYard. Let's put this up. Add that to the stage. It's our own fucking thing. Check this on stream. It is. We're up and running. Trilogy of Trilogies. And a nice little picture of Stonehenge. The trilogy was tricked for me of family, gods, and tribe. The trilogy was tricked for me when Patrick was alive. The trilogy was took from me like of water, air, and land. The trilogy was took from me like sand falls through my hand. The trilogy was took from me of earth and moon and sun. The trilogy was took from me. There was always more than one. The trilogy was took from me when snakes were forced to leave. The trilogy was took from me, but yet I still believe. And the reference to snakes and Patrick is accredited with removing the pagan religions from Ireland and the rest of the world. Edmund have noticed. Uh, I have noticed that. Sent in the gym of laughs. And our mate, the one wearing the hijab, yeah. No, that's not who they send over. Uh, it's their young male police that they send over every fucking time. Nah. Does anybody have any questions about summer solstice, those traditions, or any of that? Please put them in the chat and I will do my best to answer them. And we'll see exactly where we are. And in the meantime, I'm going to find a little musical interlude. This was asked for by Mr. Berger. Yep, here we go. Let's see if we can find this. There we go. We've got it. We do have advertisements to get through, so any questions you have, stick them in the chat and I will do my best to answer them. And we will see where we're at. Mainly questions about summer solstice, Stonehenge, hand tying, and sneaking off in the woods to have a bit of sex and fertilizing the land and making it all more fertile. I was going to say something there, but I'm not. MG may or may not still be listening. Here we go. This one was requested by, hold on, I'll check the chat to see if there are any questions. Oh, well, the snakes were the druids. And I would not trust Patrick with fucking anything. Oh, and the other thing is, your boy Patrick was never fucking sainted. He's not even a saint. This is how good the Irish are. Their patron saint was never canonized by the Vatican. He's not a saint. It's a whole fucking mishmash. And what we're going to have is a musical interlude requested by Mr. Budgie Burger. This is the one, the only Eddie Cochran, and it is Nervous Breakdown, a mental shakedown. Here we go.
I'm having a nervous breakdown, a mental shakedown. I see my hands how they shiver, I see my knees how they quiver, my whole body's in a tither. I'm having a nervous breakdown. Well, I went to see a doctor just the other day, and I'm about to tell you what the man had to say. Well, he says, Eddie boy, you just gotta slow down. You can't keep a traipsing all over town. After giving you a physical check, I come to the conclusion you're a total wreck. I'm having a nervous breakdown, a mental shakedown. I see my hands how they shiver, I see my knees how they quiver, my whole body's in a tither. I'm having a nervous breakdown. I made up my mind, I better change my ways. My shattered nerves have seen a better day. Well, no more girls for a week or two. No more running around with the usual crew. No more movies or staying out late. My baby have to find herself another day. I'm having a nervous breakdown, my mental shakedown. I see my hands how they shiver, I see my knees how they quiver, my whole body's in a tither. I'm having a nervous breakdown.
There you go. Billy Eddie Cocker, nervous breakdown, who was indeed killed in a wheelchair in a car crash. Inside that car also was Gene Vincent, and that's why he walked with a limp for the rest of his life from that accident. Uh, really terrible event. Young man taken from his far young talented man taken from us way too soon. Uh, Chapman almost lost control of the car in the same corner. Yep, it was. Uh, oh, well, for I'm on board with that one. Not being a believer myself, I am somewhat drawn towards paganism, ancestor worship, and the belief in leaving a legacy of one's own progeny. Yes, that's exactly where it's at. It's about remembering who we are, where we came from. That's the important bit. Oh, it was a shame. Oh, cool, cool. Uh, nah, there was something else I was going to say. Oh yeah, I didn't know what it was. Uh, Not only that, how indeed did Patrick get from England to Ireland? He was stolen as a slave by the Irish, like lots and lots and lots of other English people. That's a part of the story they downplay because it is indeed proof that the Irish were not all sweetness in life and were indeed fucking stealing English people. And they wonder why they pissed the English people the fuck off. Maybe if they hadn't been stealing their people, things might have went better for them. Maybe if they could be fucking honest, they would accept that as well. But that's not going to happen. Uh, oh, Little Richard, very good. I like about Little Richard. Now, with that, I'm going to start wrapping this up and what I want to impress upon you all. I hope you all get something out of these streams. Well, I know you must do because you keep coming back fucking week after week after week. It totally amazes me. Oh yeah, Patrick was an Englishman taken as a slave to Ireland by Irish people. You know, those Irish people never did anything wrong to anybody. They were busy fucking stealing English people. Yeah, but as we're saying, I hope you all get something about this and you just get a bit of connection to your past and a bit more of an understanding. The reason why, like, I've done Summer Solstice to Death. If you want to know about the Green Man, the Goddess, all that stuff, you can look back in past streams. I've went into all that in detail. And what I wanted to show this year was the continuum. And I hope that I've done that with the newspaper clippings and whatnot, where this is something that we do as a people year upon year. Always learn something new. Thank you. And what this culture war that we're engaged in, and it is indeed a culture war, is intergenerational. Your parents were fighting for this. Their parents were fighting for this. Their parents were fighting for this. Their parents were fighting for this. It's all about maintaining our British way of life. And the only way we're ever going to be successful at that is by engaging in activities that are indeed a celebration of ourselves. As great as it is to have, I don't know how many people Tommy Robinson gets at his annual event. Could be 1 million, could be fucking 2 million. I don't know. Could be 500,000. I really don't know. But as much as I like that, and I like the fact that we've got all those people in the one place, I really don't think listening to somebody playing a random tune on a fucking outsized violin with bacon on their shoulders is fitting of the English people, let alone the British people. And by the way, most of our traditions come from the English. Uh, to all us, Ulstermen, Scots, and Welsh, yes, we all played a very important part in all of this. But please remember, this is fucking majority English. Simply because there was a hell of a lot more of them. And the unique thing that we have and the good thing that we have is that we can all work together with a common language, with common beliefs, with a common tie to this land and our way of life. And we need to work together on that. And we need to make our culture and traditional events the fucking cornerstone, the center of it. Because as good as it is to bring everybody together, to be opposed to something, it's not nearly as powerful as bringing people together for a celebration of who and what we are. And that's what we need. We need shared experiences. We need shared celebrations. We need it because that I'll agree with you there. But Anglo, I will also say Battlemora 630 AD were Ulad, that's Ulsterman, Cornithia, Ulsterman, Picts, that's Scots, Scotti, that's Ulster Scots, Welshmen and Saxons came together to fight the Celts. The good thing about our long memory is we remember we also owe you a blood debt. We know that don't start me on fucking the Lord Protector. Cromwell coming over with 100 ships to end the fucking massacre of the Protestants in 1649. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the majority of those soldiers that got murdered by the Irish terrorists have always been English. You know, we understand that we have done stuff for England, but we also understand England's done stuff for us, and we are forever grateful. And we also know that the bastards who have currently captured your country do not represent the English people. We also understand that your history has been bastardized, your education has been bastardized, and there's a lot of stuff that you don't really know because it was never Do you know what? See, whenever you're being starved and murdered, you really don't care who paid for the fucker that turned up and put an end to it. You know, the last time Arklow Rock was in 1649 when Cromwell arrived. Oh, it wasn't just English made, but I'll tell you what it was. Everywhere that the British Empire went, oh, yes, there were indeed, on many, many occasions, because those bastards will bomb anywhere. I'll also put into that the S plan, the sabotage plan, where the Irish Republican Army were bombing English cities during World War II. Just immediately prior to the start, because it teamed up with the Nazis. You know, we are all fully interlinked throughout our history. The other thing that the British Empire did. A lot of the fighting in the British Empire was done by people who joined British regiments in the Empire. You know, Indian people who thought, fuck, you know what? If I join this army, I get British living conditions, British food, British pay, British uniforms, British way of life, British fairness, and the end of discrimination against me. And they jumped at that chance, and they formed the the Indian regiments, Nepal, all those places. So, you know, you don't have an empire that size without the you don't have an empire that size without the people that live in that empire fully supporting it, or at least a large amount of those people fully supporting it. Imperial Obituary is back in print. Apparently, the authors were far right, and the British civilized the third world. The British did civilize the third world. Yeah, but the thing about it is, they never really see Anglo. The English king was invited in by the Irish chieftains because you had Irish, you had Vikings, and you had Cornithia, you had Ulster Scots, and they were all fighting each other. And they brought in an English king in order that everybody could pay homage to that one English king and then stop fighting with each other. You know, it's 800 years of peace and stability that they would never have had otherwise, and they keep fucking ignoring that. Henry II. Brad's helped me out with naming the kings. Oh, fuck. Thank you so much. Right. With that, I'm going to say, I hope you all enjoyed tonight. I hope you got something from it. And I'm going to play the outro again. Because why the hell not? And this actually is the outro. And I'll put your comments all fucking right to bed. Ooh, love goal. Yep, no. Oh. Yes. Right. I'm going to play the outro. And I'm going to put your comments up on the stream. Here we go.
In the red dirt, name carved in a stone you can't move. 42 wears the north wind like a tattoo. Green field trapped in a gray sky, saw the rain still stuck in his throat. Far from the line on the map, he carries that border like a coat. 42, Ulster's poet, patriot, spitting old ghosts into new dark songs. From the cold, wet edge of Northern Ireland to the dry heat where his shadow runs long. 42, Ulster's poet, patriot, every line is a vow he won't undo. Hear that low voice curse and bless, words like broken glass in the heather. Tongue tastes blood and black tea. He writes the river that cut his town. He writes walls only he can see. Vision of Ulster's flicker over rusted wire and ruin. He plants a flag in this dead valley and calls it home by singing. 42, Ulster's poet, patriot, spitting old ghosts into new dark songs. From the cold, wet edge of Northern Ireland to the dry heat where his shadow runs long. 42, Ulster's poet, patriot. Every line is a vow he won't undo. Hear that low voice curse and bless when the dust says 42. Is it exile if the land moves with you? Is it freedom if the past still stares straight through? He laughs like a funeral, he prays like a fight, writes Ulster in the sand, lets the wind decide the right. At 42, Ulster's poet, patriot, spitting old ghosts into new dark songs. From the cold, wet edge of Northern Ireland to the dry heat where his shadow runs long. 42, Ulster's poet, patriot. Every line is a vow he won't undo. Hear that low voice curse and bless when the dust says 42. 42. 42.
Anglo, it's fucking class. Rich did an amazing job there. I'm so pleased with it. There's a couple of little bits in the video that I want to tidy up, and then we'll get it posted, and I'll be able to put the proper credits into the video description and whatnot. And Rich may or may not mirror it and let it out. I told him treat it like his own because it's as much his as mine. And with that being said and done. Sorry about that. With that being said and done, I've been 42. You lot in the chat have, as always, been fucking amazing. Good night. God bless. See you all next week. I'm out of here. Goodbye. Boss, thanks for dropping in. Here we go. Bye-bye.